You have to put in the work. There's no shortcut around it. You can hope for success. You can imagine it. You can even pray for it. But sooner or later, you must take action. Success is not random. It's not luck. And it's definitely not magic. It comes from effort and discipline. And that's the part most people don't like to hear. People want the reward without doing the work. They want results without effort. They want to win without preparation. But life doesn't work like that. Life asks everyone the same question. How much do you really want it? And your answer isn't in what you say. It shows in what you do. It shows in early mornings, late nights, and the sacrifices nobody notices. That's where success is actually built. Grinding is not punishment. It's preparation. Every hour you spend improving yourself is getting you ready for chances that haven't come yet. The books you read, the skills you practice, the discipline you build, none of it goes to waste. Every single day, you are becoming more valuable. And here's the truth. The world rewards value, not excuses, not wishes, value. There will be days when you don't feel like doing anything. Days when you're tired. Days when it feels like nothing is changing. Those days matter the most, because anyone can work when they feel motivated. The real question is, can you work when you don't feel like it? Can you keep going when nobody is watching? Can you stay committed when the excitement fades? That's where the grind really starts. That's where winners are made. Let me be clear. This is not about working until you burn out. It's about discipline. It's about showing up again and again, even when progress feels slow. Because success is not a one-time event. It's a process. And every process takes time. Most people think they can achieve a lot in a short time, but they underestimate what they can do in years. Why? Because they quit too early. They stop before things start to grow. They give up before results appear. So if you truly want to change your life, if you are serious about success, if you want to become better than you are today, then understand this. You must grind. Not sometimes, not only when it's easy. Every single day. Because the future belongs to those who are willing to do what others avoid doing today. Let me ask you something. What is success really worth to you? Not what you want, not what you dream about. What is it worth? Because everything you want has a price. Every skill, every achievement, every level of success comes with a cost. And here's the reality. Most people want the reward, but very few want to pay the price. Don't wish things were easier. Wish you were stronger. Life doesn't suddenly become simple. Challenges don't disappear. Problems don't move out of your way. The real question is, will you improve? Will you become stronger, smarter, more disciplined? Because success demands something from you before it gives anything back. Look at nature. Before you harvest, you must plant. Before you win, you must prepare. Before results, there must be work. That's the rule, and no one avoids it. Not rich people, not talented people, not lucky people. Everyone pays. The only difference is when they pay. Some people do the hard work now and enjoy later. Others enjoy now and struggle later. Think about it. A student studies while others relax. A business owner works while others sleep. An athlete trains while others make excuses. Why? Because they understand something important. Discipline feels light now, but regret feels heavy later. Let me share something that changed my thinking. When I was younger, I wanted things to get better. I wanted more money, more chances, a better future. Then someone asked me a simple question. Are you willing to pay the price? Not money, personal change. Was I ready to improve, to learn, to grow? Because success is not something you chase. It's something you attract. by who you become. And becoming better takes effort. Many people say they want success. But when the work shows up, early mornings, long nights, consistency, patience, they lose interest. Suddenly, the dream doesn't feel exciting anymore because now it requires sacrifice.
That's where most people stop.
But successful people keep going. Here's something important to understand. Success itself is not expensive. Being average is expensive. Wasting your potential is expensive. Reaching the end of your life and wondering, what if I had tried harder? That's the real cost. If you avoid taking risks, you will end up living an ordinary life. And ordinary often comes from avoiding effort, avoiding discipline, avoiding growth. But paying the price doesn't mean making yourself suffer. It means investing in yourself. Every book you read, every skill you build, every hour you spend improving, it all adds up. Every day, your mind is giving you instructions. Sometimes it says, do the work. Other times it says, maybe tomorrow. One day, people will call you successful. They might even say you're lucky, but they didn't see the work behind it. They didn't see the years of effort or the sacrifices. They only see the results. The world rewards value, and value must be built. That's why you should work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Because when you become more valuable, your rewards increase. Not because life is unfair, but because life responds to value. Look at your goals. Look at your dreams. Ask yourself, am I willing to pay the price? Am I ready to do what others won't? Am I willing to give up comfort today for a better tomorrow? Because success is possible. It's predictable, but it's not free. Every reward has a cost. Every result requires effort. And the people who achieve big things are not always the most talented. Often, they are just the ones who decided the dream was worth the price. And once you make that decision, your life starts to change. Now understand this, the grind is not just about reaching success. It's about who you become while chasing it. Most people think grinding is something negative, something to avoid. But the truth is, the grind teaches you things comfort never can. Success is simply a few small habits repeated daily. And those habits are built through discipline, not during easy times, not during lucky moments, but during pressure, struggle, and repetition. Character is not built when everything is going well. It is built during hard times. When life is easy, anyone can stay strong. But when things get difficult, that's when your true self shows. So ask yourself, who are you when nobody is cheering? Who are you when no one is watching? Who are you when results are slow and motivation is gone? That is the real you, not the version you show others, but the version you build quietly. The grind shapes you. It sharpens your focus. It builds patience. It strengthens discipline. It forces you to either grow or fall behind. There is no staying the same. You are either improving or losing ground. Here's something powerful. Every hard day is building something inside you. You may not see it right away, but it's happening. Every early morning, every time you push through when you're tired, every moment you choose effort over comfort, it's building strength. Not just success on the outside, but identity on the inside. Because success without character doesn't last, but character built through effort lasts forever. That's why struggle is not your enemy. It is your training. Don't wish for fewer problems. Wish for more skills. Problems don't disappear. They just change as you grow. But so does your ability to handle them. That is progress. The grind teaches patience. It shows you that results take time. It teaches you to trust the process, even when nothing seems to be happening. And that's where most people give up. Not because they can't succeed, but because they can't wait. But those who stay consistent become different. They become stronger, more stable, more focused. Hard times stop shaking them easily because they've already been shaped by difficulty. Comfort makes people weak. The grind makes people strong. Comfort says relax. The grind says improve. Comfort says stop when it's hard. The grind says keep going. Comfort builds delay. The grind builds discipline. And discipline is everything. Because discipline is not what you do once, it's what you do again and again. It's showing up when you don't feel like it. It's continuing without recognition. It's staying committed even when results are invisible. That's how real character is built. That is how character is formed. Now let me be clear. The grind will test you. It will test your patience. It will test your focus. It will test your commitment. And in those moments, you find out who you really are. Not who you pretend to be. Not who you claim to be. But who you are actually becoming. And here is the truth that changes everything. You are not only working towards success, you are being shaped by the process. Every struggle is building resilience. Every effort is building strength. Every challenge is building identity. Slowly, quietly, powerfully. So don't run from the grind. Respect it. Because one day you will look back and realize the very thing you tried to avoid was the thing that built you. The grind builds character. And character builds everything else. Let me tell you something very important. The loudest people are not always the most successful. In fact, many times they are not successful at all. Because success is not loud. Success is quiet. It is steady. It is consistent. It happens in silence. Success is nothing more than a few simple habits done every day. And discipline does not need attention. It does not need applause. It does not need approval. It only needs action. Most people spend too much time talking about what they will do. They talk about dreams. They talk about goals. They talk about plans. But talking builds nothing. Action builds everything. Then there are complaints. Complaining is easy. The work is hard, so they complain. The results are slow, so they complain. The situation is difficult, so they complain. But here is the truth. Complaints do not change anything. They only wear you down. They only weaken your focus. They only keep you stuck. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Because better people do not complain about the weight. They lift it. They do not complain about the challenge. They face it. They do not complain about the road. They walk it. Now listen closely. Every time you complain, you give away power. Power over your thoughts. Power over your feelings. Power over your direction. And little by little, complaints turn into a habit. And that habit becomes a life of limits. But there is another way, a stronger way. Replace complaints with action. Not excuses, not blame, not delay. Action. Action is powerful because it breaks patterns. When you act, something changes. Even one small step forward creates movement, and movement changes everything. Ask yourself this: what would happen if every time you wanted to complain, you chose to do something instead? One small action, one small effort, one small improvement. You know what would happen? Your life would begin to shift. At first slowly, then clearly, then deeply. Because action builds confidence, not words, not thoughts, not feelings. Action. Every day Your mind is giving you instructions. Sometimes it says, do the work. Other times it says, maybe tomorrow. Sometimes it pushes you forward. Sometimes it pulls you backward. And the direction of your life depends on which voice you choose to follow. Most people want success. They want a better future, better health, better finances, better opportunities. But wanting is... But complaints do the opposite. They create helplessness. They create delay. They create excuses. And excuses are dangerous because they feel easy, but lead nowhere. The grind teaches a different language. Not the language of complaining, but the language of doing. Not the language of blaming, but the language of building. Not the language of waiting, but the language of working. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you do not feel like doing it. That is what separates average from extraordinary. Average people talk. Extraordinary people act. Now, think about your own life. How many chances have you lost because you were too busy complaining? How many doors passed you by while you waited for life to get easier? How much time was wasted instead of invested? The truth is simple. Your future is not shaped by your complaints. It is shaped by your actions. What you do today is building who you become tomorrow. So here is the habit: grind in silence. Work quietly, improve quietly, build quietly. Let your results speak, not your words. Because when you are grinding in silence, you are focused, you are disciplined, you are growing. There is no pressure to prove yourself, no need for approval, no need for outside validation, just progress. And slowly, without noise, without attention, without praise, you begin to become powerful. Not because you talked about it, because you did it. So remember this: stop complaining, start acting, stop talking, start building, stop waiting, start working. Because in the end, the people who change their lives are not the ones who complain the least. They are the ones who act the most, quietly, every single day. Let me tell you something most people do not understand until it is too late. Talent is common. Consistency is rare. And what is rare becomes valuable. Success is nothing more than a few simple habits practiced every day. Not sometimes, not only when you feel inspired, not only when life is easy, every single day. That is where success lives. You see, talent looks impressive at first. People notice it. People admire it. People talk about it. But talent without consistency fades. Because talent alone is not enough to carry a life forward. Consistency is different. Consistency is quiet. Consistency is simple. Consistency is strong. It does not need excitement. It does not need motivation. It does not need perfect conditions. It only needs repetition. Let me ask you this: who improves faster? The highly talented person who works only once in a while, or the average person who shows up every day? The answer is clear. The consistent person wins in the long run because consistency builds on itself. Small actions repeated daily turn into big results over time. A little reading each day, a little practice each day, a little discipline each day. It may not seem like much at first, but later it becomes everything.
We are what we do again and again.
Excellence is not a single act. It is a habit. And habits are built through consistency, not bursts of effort, but steady commitment. Now listen carefully. Most people fail not because they are unable. They fail because they stop. They start strong, but they do not continue. They get excited, but they do not stay steady. And inconsistency destroys potential, because inconsistency breaks momentum. And without momentum, everything feels harder than it really is. But consistency builds momentum. And momentum makes everything easier.
Think of it this way. One push means little, but repeated pushes can move mountains. One day of effort is small, but hundreds of days of effort create change.
That is how life works. Now, to be honest, there will be days when you do not feel like it. Days when you are tired. Days when progress feels slow. Days when nothing seems to change. Those are the days that matter most, because that is where consistency is tested. And that is where most people quit. Not because they cannot keep going, but because they cannot stay patient. They want quick results. They want instant progress. They want immediate success. But life does not work that way. Success takes time, and time rewards consistency, not talent, not shortcuts, not luck. Consistency is the bridge between goals and results, and consistency is what keeps that bridge strong. Every day you show up, you are strengthening that bridge. Every day you skip, you weaken it. Now think about your goals. What would happen if you stayed consistent for 1 year? Not perfect, not extraordinary, just consistent. Where would your life be? What would you become? What would change? Most people do not realize how powerful this is. They think small actions do not matter. But small actions repeated daily become identity, and identity becomes destiny. So here is the truth. Talent may give you a head start, but consistency wins the race every time. Because life does not reward the most talented. It rewards the most dependable, the most disciplined, the most consistent, the ones who keep showing up, even when nothing is easy. So remember this habit. Consistency beats talent every single time. And if you stay consistent long enough, you will eventually become the person others once called talented. Let me tell you something very important. The reward does not go to the wishers. It does not go to the talkers. It does not go to the dreamers who never move. The reward belongs to those who grind quietly, steadily, and patiently. Success is nothing more than a few simple habits practiced every day. And the grind is nothing more than discipline repeated over time. Not once, not sometimes, but until it becomes part of who you are. Many people begin the journey. They start with energy. They start with excitement. They start with big dreams. But somewhere along the way, they stop. They slow down. They get distracted. They lose patience. And in the end, they quit. But the reward is not handed out at the start. It is not given in the middle. It is only given at the end. And those people never reach the end because they refuse to keep grinding. Let me ask you something. What separates the ones who succeed from the ones who do not? It is not intelligence. It is not talent. It is not even opportunity. It is endurance. The ability to stay in the race long after motivation is gone. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Because better people do not stop when things get hard. Better people adjust. Better people keep going. Better people grind through resistance. Now listen carefully. The grind is not exciting. It is not flashy. It is not always easy to see. It is often lonely, but it is powerful. Because every day you grind, you are building something inside yourself. Strength, discipline, character. And one day, that hidden work becomes visible success. One day, people look at what you achieved and say, lucky, but they do not see the grind. They do not see the early mornings. They do not see the late nights. They do not see the times you kept going when it was hard. They only see the outcome. But you will know the truth. You will know what it cost. You will know what you gave up. You will know the discipline it took. And that inner strength is the real reward. Because success without struggle means little. But success earned through the grind means everything. It builds confidence that cannot be shaken. It builds identity that cannot be broken. It builds pride that cannot be taken away. Now understand this. The grind will test you. It will test your patience. It will test your focus. It will test your belief. And in those moments, you face a choice. Stop or continue. Quit or persist. Give up or grind harder. And here is what I have learned. The people who win are not the ones who never struggle. They are the ones who refuse to stop moving forward. They keep moving. They keep building. They keep grinding, even when progress is slow, even when results cannot be seen, even when no one believes in them. Because they understand something powerful. The reward is not given for starting. The reward is given for staying. So let me leave you with this final thought. If you are willing to grind when it is hard, if you are willing to continue when it is slow, if you are willing to stay when others quit, then you will eventually reach a place most people never do. Not because life was easier for you, but because you refused to stop. And in the end, the reward belongs to those who grind.